Hello guys, in today's video we're gonna be generating the mesh. You guys are gonna see some cool visuals. We're gonna be generating the boundary layer in the mesh, and yeah, let's get started. So first we just want to close what we've done so far in Space Clean. Let's close Space Clean. I also want to make sure we save Workbench, so we're saving it. Now we're gonna go to under component system, go to mesh, and just drag it and drop it beside the geometry that we created, and just drag the geometry into the mesh. And now we can open the mesh by just right clicking and clicking edit. I'm gonna wait for this to load. Now the mesh might look a bit different in terms of the background, because my background is completely white. It might look different for you guys, maybe a slight bluish color, but that's completely fine. Everything is still the same. Just waiting for the domains to be shown. There you go, it's loading. Okay, now we're gonna start going to mesh on the left, and you can see here where it says physics preferences, we want to change the mechanical to CFD. And then you can see under sizing we don't need to change anything. Let's close that. In inflation, this is where we're gonna create our boundary layer. We're gonna change the use automatic inflation and go to all face in chosen name selection, and then we're gonna click on the blade for name selections. For inflation options, we're gonna change this to first layer thickness. And for first layer thickness, we're going to specify the value. We're going to write 4e minus 6. I wrote D by accident, sorry. 4e minus 6. And for the maximum layers, we're going to put 30. First, let's just put the growth rate. We're going to put that as 1.15 and max layers as 30. Now we can also change the display to wireframe by just going to display and then actually going to display again and changing it to wireframe so you can see it easier. So now let's keep on meshing. Going to mesh, right click, go to insert and click on sizing. And now the geometry selection, always change it to name selection, and for the first name selection we're going to click on outer, and you can see it's selected the outer. Now we're gonna change the element size to 0.2, and we're gonna also make the capture proximity as yes, and we're gonna keep everything else the same. We're gonna do this again, go to mesh, right click, insert, and then go to sizing. Change the scoping method to name selection, change the name selection to inner, and then change the element size to 0.1 and keep the capture proximity on. So the inner is 0.1 and the outer was 0.2. And now we're gonna do rotate again, same thing, insert, sizing, change the geometry selection to name selection, change the name selection to rotate. Make sure the element size here is 2.5e minus 3. And of course for capture proximity, change no to yes. Now the final thing is again mesh, insert, we're gonna go to sizing, and this time we're gonna do the blade. So geometry selection, name selection, we can now click on the blade, and now we're gonna change the element size to 4e minus 4. and we're gonna keep the capture proximity as no. We're gonna just change it back just so we can see what's gonna happen. When you're done, just go to home and just click generate. And so so you want to see what the progress is, just click on the loading green bar here on the bottom right, and you can see the mesh being completed, or while it's completing what's going on. And you can also see what's actually going on, what it's actually meshing during this process. And you can see it's highlighted with green. We're gonna just wait for this until it meshes. So once you're done, we wanna see if it did mesh well inside, and you should see a tick beside the mesh showing it's done. And we wanna see what's going inside. So to do that, we're gonna go to home and section plane. This allows us to draw a line to cut the domain. Of course, we're not actually cutting it, we're just seeing what's through it. And now if I zoom in, you can see that we did the side of the propeller. If you want to see the boundary layer, or we want to cut the blade itself, we're going to make another section plane, but this time let's click on the x-axis and then cut it around the center, not exactly in the center, but right beside the center, so you can see the blade. So now that I've cut it, you can clearly see the blades here, but you can see this isn't the 3D, this is only the 2D surface, and if you want to just show this 3D, you could just click up on that icon, and there you go, you can see the 3D mesh that was generated. And you can see how it's getting more finer as we zoom into the airfoil, and you can see how fine the boundary layer has to be. And that's it. In the next video, we're gonna talk about solving and how to set up the solving.